Broadmore Hospital is a high-security psychiatric hospital in Crowthorne, Berkshire, England. It opened its doors in 1864 and was first known as the Lunatic Asylum for the Criminally Insane. Like straight out of a comic book, the hospital is as infamous as the people it has housed over the years. Known as Monster Mansion by some, it has housed some of the most dangerous men and women in British history. Even though a lot of the patients are sent there by the criminal justice system, it's not a prison but a hospital for the treatment of severe mental trauma. Since it opened, the hospital has been rocked by scandals and has been under fire for its treatment of inmates, especially its female patients over the years. Due to his power and influence in British society, the notorious paedophile Jimmy Savile was made a director and manager of the hospital in 1964 and held this position for over 30 years. This role came with his own set of personal keys and rooms within the hospital. The hospital is most notorious for the patients it has housed over the years. It has taken in mad royals, murderous politicians, crazy bombers and most notably serial killers. Here are some of the most notorious patients. Peter Sutcliffe. Peter Sutcliffe, also known as the Yorkshire Ripper, was sent to Broadmoor for the murder of 13 women and the attempted murder of 6 other women. His crimes took place across West Yorkshire and Manchester between 1975 and 1980. After one of the biggest manhunts in British history, he was finally apprehended and sent to Broadmoor in 1984. Kenneth Erskine. Kenneth Erskine, the Stockwell Strangler, began his career as a burglar before moving up to rape and murder. Erskine would break into the houses of elderly people before robbing and murdering them, and in some cases sexually assaulting his victims. At the time, Erskine was homeless and addicted to sniffing glue. He was finally caught when he was seen running from the house of one of his victims and was sentenced to life imprisonment in 1988. He was sent to Broadmoor in 2009. While there, he saved the life of Peter Sutcliffe when a patient tried to strangle him to death. Robert Nappa. Robert Nappa was sent to Broadmoor for the brutal murders of Samantha Bissett and her 4-year-old daughter Jasmine. He mutilated Samantha to take a trophy, and when police arrived at the scene, the brutality of the murder was so horrific they needed treatment for PTSD. While incarcerated for that crime, he was linked to another murder through DNA. He had killed Rachel Nichol on Wimbledon Common in July 1992 in front of her little boy. When officers found her body, the little boy was still clung to her, repeating the words, "Wake up, mommy." He is also suspect of being the green chain rapist, who carried out 70 attacks in southeast London across 4 years in the early 1990s. Daniel Gonzalez. Daniel Gonzalez was nicknamed the Freddy Krueger Killer and the Mummy's Boy Killer after murdering 4 people and injuring 2 across 2 days in London and Sussex in September 2004. During his stabbing spree, he wrote about his experiences in letters to himself as Zippy, his past nickname. His letters said how much he enjoyed the murders. He called it one of the best things I've done in my life. He tried to kill himself while on trial by trying to bite out his arteries with his teeth. He was considered so dangerous he was accompanied by prison officers in riot gear at all times. He killed himself while in Broadmoor in 2007. Graham Young. In 1962, Graham Young was sent to Broadmoor at the age of 15 for the murder of his stepmother and the attempted murder of his father and sister. Known as the teacup poisoner, he started poisoning his family and friends. He kept a detailed diary of his crimes with dose amounts and type of poisons he would use. His preferred poison of choice was Tylum, a heavy metal used in the process of photographs in the 60s. He would continue his murderous science experiments while a patient at the hospital. Everyone around him would experience some form of nausea and hair loss. Doctors feared him and the deadly experiments so much that they told him if he acted less enthusiastic about science he would get out early. They let him out 10 years later at the age of 25, certified fully cured, even though he admitted to a nurse that he was going to kill a person for every year he was at Broadmoor. He went on to kill 2 more and poison countless more after he was freed. He was convicted and sentenced to life in prison in 1972.